I'll call the meeting to order. Our treasurer clerk is out this evening, so if anybody wants to speak or address the board, please raise your hand so we could identify you, and then please stand up and tell us your name and address. So general business, I'd like to have a motion made for the minutes.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes on March 22nd, 2025, and April 22nd, 2025.
Second. Been made and seconded. Any discussion? I just want to change the March to 25, March 25th of 2025, so it's correct. Seeing any? Not seeing any? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this time, is there anybody here that would like to make a public address to the board?
I guess we're on the.
You are, but you've got your own little title on here, so you don't have to worry about it.
I'm down.
Okay. So, then I'll move on. Our first order of business is, discussion with Berkshire Snow Seekers.
Okay, I'm Don Allard, representing Berkshire Snow. This is Chris Rogers, he's the president of the Berkshire Snow Seekers. What we're here to discuss is the Windsor Rod Gun Club owns pavilion up near Friendly Fred's on Route 9, which is on district land.
Mm-hmm.
You have an agreement with the Windsor Rod and Gun Club, I guess, to maintain that building on the land. The Rod and Gun Club, it doesn't have any events planned for this summer, and we were desperate to find a place to store our groomers this summer, so we approached them, and they agreed to let us park our groomers under the pavilion for the duration to let them get them out of the weather. But they said to check with the commissioners to make sure that it was okay with you because it's on your property. So
Okay.
it's basically a change of use of the property.
Property?
So, we'd like to park our groomers under the pavilion. Maybe we'll close it in a little bit, just make it a little bit more secure, but for now, it's just for this summer to get them out of the weather, because we're desperate for a place to do it. So just, if you don't have any objections to the change of use.
Nope. I'll have a few, first I'll ask Bob if he has any objections to that.
Not really, no.
Okay.
We'll
The only thing
we'll maintain the parking lot.
Can we put a tarp under them and then put them on the tarp? Is that possible in case there's any fuel leakage?
I can tell you this, so Jim, that we have to keep those machines pretty good because we go on a lot of fish and wildlife property. And
Okay.
we don't want anything leaking out of their stuff.
Okay.
So those machines, I can attest that most of them, if not all of them, really don't have it. If we have an issue with a machine, I have no problem putting stuff down on it. The reason why it was kind of better is the pavilion has blacktop, it's not on gravel, so the chances of it seeping into
Oh, okay.
the groundwater, I think it's addressed with the blacktop being there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other comments from the board?
No.
Make a motion to allow the snow seekers.
I make a motion to allow the snow seekers to use the pavilion for the summer.
Second. I'm moving second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are you in favor?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, that's short term. Long term, we are researching grant opportunities and places to store and house our equipment. Long term, there's recreational trails grants, which we bought these machines with, and which allow for purchasing equipment, purchasing buildings, purchasing land, et cetera, et cetera. And we're researching places to put up a building, perhaps, and we're just wondering if the district might be agreeable to entering into an agreement with us, possibly putting up a building on that piece of land somewhere in the same area as the Rod and Gun Club has. Sometime in the future, this would be
This is just a
a
proposed idea.
year or two
Yep.
ahead, but we're just looking at different venues that are a possibility that we could
You
apply
could do
for a
that.
grant to possibly put up a building to house our equipment a little more permanently.
Okay.
Do we have any CR restrictions on that?
I'd have to check for CR
That's
construction.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know
That
what,
might be a,
that might be the problem, is putting up a building, on the property. I know It's an open, it's just a roof. I don't know if there was anything about that when it was put in, but.
Yeah, that may be grandfathered anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was grandfathered if it is.
CR.
We'll get in touch with Fish and Wildlife and see if that area is covered by the CR. And if it's not, we can have that discussion.
Okay.
But there's no sense in having that discussion until, if it is covered by the CR, there's no way we can put a building on it.
Right, okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah, just something to think about, because, like I said, we're looking at other possibly in a state forest or on private land, and, you know, we're trying to look at possibilities.
Okay,
That would be an ideal one for us, because it's right on the trail system.
Yep.
It's right next to the store and the thing, so it would be a great place for us if it's possible.
okay.
All right, thank
All right, thank you.
I think we're good. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. You guys work with us, we've been signing contracts for years with us.
I was looking back in 2001, I think was the first one we did, so we're 25 years into it.
We appreciate it, you guys letting us use your land and stuff.
We appreciate you being out on the land. It helps us to have eyes and ears out there for areas that we don't cover. So, you know, you guys have been really good about coming back and telling us what you found or things like that, if you find something. So I think it's a good,
Yeah, it's good working relationship.
it is, very good.
I appreciate your time, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Take care.
Next on the agenda is New England Woodland.
Now it's your turn.
I was just gonna say, he's all amped up, ready to go. Melanie said, I'm not gonna be here, over back. Yeah, ours is very brief. Timber sale did go very well. The only thing they have left is a little bit of cleanup, some mats or land bridges on the landing. Those will be removed as soon as things dry out. We have the management plan that is going to be ready in 2025. We are on schedule budget-wise for it, and that is with the mapping, the inventory, and all of the work. The other part of the budget is the 2 timber sales that we have proposed. They're not big money makers, but when all is said and done, it will be negative, I think it was about $3,400 to the, and that negative is also, the management plan is in there too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking very good.
Okay,
I just, being close to the budget, that's why I wanted to show up in case you had any budget questions, but then now Melanie's not here, so.
oh, but we believe me, I can dig that figure up if you need it, but,
Okay.
no, we're good with the figure. We've been putting money into the management end of this because we profit from the harvesting end of it.
Yep.
So, nope, I think everything will go good, and the way I looked at it is we'll make a few dollars on the timber sales that you mentioned to offset what we're spending on management
Yep.
this year.
The only out-of-pocket thing that the fire district does need to think about is, when he was speaking of the pavilion, we do have a piece of property, is it landlocked or just? There's a piece of landlocked. Oh, okay. In the swamp spot above Flintstone. But the one by the pavilion, is that landlocked? No, that's not. Okay. We really don't know where the boundaries are there, so it is going to take a professional surveyor to do that.
Okay,
And I don't know if, so we have nothing in the budget. That would be, if you wanted us to help lining up a surveyor or putting it out to bid or something.
is it something we need to do this year?
No.
Okay, so let's plan on it for the next budget session next year.
Yep.
Because the provincial committee has already approved the budget for this year.
Okay.
So we'd have to backtrack that all back out. So why don't we start looking in this fall of, looking for costs of having it surveyed, and then we can put it in for next year.
Well, Nate is writing the plan, and he is going to have the schedule in there, and he'll just make a note
Okay,
that needs to go in.
okay.
And lastly, our new hire is Josh Porter.
Josh?
And that's really all we have. Any questions for us?
Just, you're doing a fantastic job for us, and
Great.
we never have to call you, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I know.
The only reason the mats aren't removed at this time is there was so much ice that was underneath that when we went up there with the logger in the beginning of April, there was still about 8 inches of ice under there.
Okay.
They were just gonna tear them apart.
Yeah.
They figured May, so that will be starting probably in another week or two, that they'll pick all those up.
Okay,
All the logs have been moved out.
all right.
They really went to town and they did a great job.
You're happy with what they did?
Yeah, excellent work.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
We'll move on to fire and ambulance report.
All right. So starting with the ambulance and fire report in terms of monthly calls, did thus far 111 calls in the month of April. Most of those, not surprisingly, about 3/4 have been EMS calls. We have had a fair few calls for fires, outside burning, etc., which brings me to my next update, which is that the burning season runs from January 15th to May 1st, so tomorrow is the last day to burn. Recently, we've had a lot of really high-risk fire days, and so we've had to suspend burning permits on those days. I'm still waiting for tomorrow's fire risk to come out. So there may or may not be burning tomorrow, but after that date, there is no more burning for the season. So hopefully we will not get quite so many calls for that. In addition to that, we have Dennis Tinker's gotten us a couple of grants, as I've mentioned previously, and with that, we've been able to upgrade and secure 6 new portable radios. And in addition to that, we've also been able to get some more PPE, or personal protective equipment. And those 2 grants, pretty much all of that equipment has come in, so we're just about finished closing those out. And we also are close to closing out a grant from 2023 that was left open for some CBA equipment. In addition to that, I wanted to announce we are having a dedication ceremony for the ambulance on May 17th at 10 a.m. The ambulance is being dedicated to Chris Doyle, a fallen member of our department. And speaking of losses, we have also more recently lost a longtime member, Dan McGinnis, whose services are tomorrow. And we just learned this morning that Chief Trowinski passed away. He was an interim chief, as you all know, for us for about a year, and was also the chief over in Pittsfield. So we have reached out to Pittsfield and asked if there's anything that we can do to support them in their services. And aside from that, a couple other personnel updates. Christopher Gleason was promoted from lieutenant to captain. He is our second station captain and is Car 5. And then we also promoted a longtime member, Jordan Anderson. Look at that, there he is. To lieutenant, very deserving individual. Expect him to do quite well in that position. And then lastly, I just wanted to give you an updated draft of the policies so far. that's really it.
Okay. So are we pretty much up to date with all these now, or do you have other ones you're planning on doing?
There are some newer ones in there, and you are pretty much up to date. However, I think I've sent you everything that's in there.
Okay,
But
so,
there's some small edits that have gone into some of them. As we sort of implement them, we figure out what needs to be tweaked, et cetera.
all right, so we'll look into June to accept this version,
Awesome.
okay?
Yep.
All right. All set? Okay. Bob?
All right, we spent a few days over on Orchard Road marking it out for the road project they got going on there. We had to mark out every service, both water mains and all the connections on that street. They're moving right along with that. They got the drainage from the bridge all the way up to almost Pease Ave now. And they just got to cross our 2 mains in one spot and they'll be done. It looks like they're going to be shallow enough to go over the top of them. Ty and Bond, they came in with their contractor to do the vacuum excavations. They're all done with those now. They collected a bunch of data, and I think she sent me an email saying she was short 3, and we had some that we had found through the project on Orchard Road, and one for a water break when Eversource drilled through. And that brings me to my next one, which was Eversource. When they were putting in a pole, they drilled into one of our water services going up to Patrica's up there in Bridle Path.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to go in, dig it up, put it and fix the line, and find that it's copper going all the way up, so win-win. We're almost done with the 6-month meter reading. Been out doing those. We put in the notice for the hydrant flushing on April 12th. April 15th we started, and that's been going well. When we were flushing the hydrant on the corner of Franklin and North Street, the breakaway broke off inside of it, so we went over there and we had to tear it apart and rebuild it. That's back in service. Got a call from Nazarene Church. They said there was a pipe coming up on the side of their building, and they thought it was an old hydrant. We went over there and it looked like a hydrant, it had a flange on it and everything. No hydrant on it, but the pipe was there. We looked through all our records. We didn't find any records stating that it was a hydrant, but we couldn't verify that it wasn't. So we dug down and snapped the pipe off below the grade because they're putting in a playground there for the kids. So we got it out of their way anyways. And we were accepted for the IT Compact grant. The grant is for SCADA, a little bit of SCADA upgrades and new radios for the SCADA for $73,300.
Okay.
And that's all I've got.
All right. All right. Anything else? There'd be no administration report tonight because Melanie is away. Any other comments or business? Seeing none, hearing none.
I make a motion, we close the meeting.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.